Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the tools needed to build an AR. If you're interested in building your own AR and you're just trying to get your tools and components together, you actually really only need very few things, and even what I have here is probably enough. So these are the main things that you'll need for building an AR, and you can probably get away with just this. First thing we have that's obvious is a hammer. That's for tapping in all your pins. You just need a little force and you need to be accurate with that force. So I would recommend, you can get gunsmith hammers. That's smart. Something with a small head. You don't want a large head on your hammer. Otherwise, you'll end up scratching your receiver when you're putting in a couple of your pins, like your bolt stop pin and just some other ones that you're tapping really close to the receiver. So you might want an actual gunsmithing hammer that has either a plastic side or a brass side, something that isn't going to scratch or scratch the surface of your receivers. So the next thing you'll need is a punch set. This one has most of the exact size punches that you need. You can get away with sometimes with a smaller punch than you need, just not too small. And again, that's just for specifically tapping in your pins and some areas where tapping in your pins gets very difficult, especially, like I said, on the bolt catch pin. So we have a lower vise block. This goes in your vise. It's just like having a third hand for holding the lower when you're putting it all together. You could maybe get away without having it, but I would recommend having someone else there to help you then, just because you really will need someone or something to hold the lower in the vise so that you can tap in your pins. This is the upper vise block. It actually is two pieces and it goes over your upper receiver. Again, it's just like having a third hand for holding your upper receiver, and when you're putting your barrel in, it's probably the only way you're going to be able to do it is to have a vise block that holds onto the upper for you. Now, the last thing you need, the most important thing I would say, is actually the armorer's wrench. Now I have two versions of the armorer's wrench. One's a good armorer's wrench and one's a bad one. So we'll show you the bad one first, is this one here. And the only reason why it's bad is because this hole, which is supposed to be for your torque wrench, is actually a little bit too big. It's larger than a half-inch torque wrench connector. So it's going to be wobbly in there. It's not going to give you a very good fit. This was a really cheap one. I believe it was only like $10. So the other thing you'll notice compared to this one is that it doesn't have this area right here. This area is really important for your castle nut. When you're putting your buffer tube on and you're tightening your castle nut down, you want something that's going to grab in at least several parts of the castle nut so that you're not stripping out the little indents in your castle nut, and for torquing it down. So when you're putting your torque wrench in here and you're putting this around your castle nut, you want both of those things to fit real tight. Otherwise, you're going to end up scratching your buffer tube, you're going to end up bending something, and this is really the thing that you're looking for, especially if you're just putting together your lower receiver. This is the absolute most important part that you need on an armorer's wrench. These parts here are for your flash hiders, if you're going to be screwing on your flash hiders. Up here is for your barrel nut, if you're tightening down your barrel nut. There's also another one over here that you can use for tightening down your castle nut, but I would recommend using this for sure. And yeah, that's mostly what you're going to have going on in your armorer's wrench. But like I said, if you're going to go buy one, definitely make sure it has this part, the three-prong castle nut holder for your wrench. So that's basically it. You could get away with these few items. I've built lowers with just this stuff. I haven't really put together many uppers, but I've done some tinkering on uppers, and again, this is basically what you need. So you can get away with just these few items for building an AR if you're going to be doing it yourself. Thanks for stopping by. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.